live from Los Angeles. I'm Alex Curry here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys. How are we doing today?
Doing good. We're doing good. Doing good.
Are we? I got a little something for you today.
What you got?
I brought it just for you.
Oh,
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers made sure that I had this for this season. This is an authentic game jersey of you-know-who. Do you like this? How about this? Look at this. It's got the C on it. It's got, no, you're going to throw it. You're going to throw it. I might let you wear it this year, but I only bring it out now to advise you it's going to be a long season for you on the show.
I'm going to have a bunch of jerseys. I got to get every other quarterback that they play, got to get their jersey.
Okay.
That's my team.
How about a Dak jersey?
No. I want the Buccaneers to beat the brakes off them.
Fresh. But let's start with his former coach, because in classic Bill Belichick fashion, he didn't have too much to say yesterday about the decision to release Cam Newton and make rookie Mac Jones the team's starting quarterback. However, Belichick did dismiss the idea that Newton's vaccination status played a role in the decision to cut the former MVP. Take a listen.
No, I mean, look, you guys keep talking about that. And, I would just point out that I don't know what the number is. I mean, you guys can look it up. You have the access to a lot of information. But the number of players and coaches and staff members that have, been infected by COVID in this training camp who have been vaccinated is a pretty high number. So I wouldn't lose sight of that.
Shannon, what do you make of these comments?
I didn't like them. Coach Belichick knows there's not been a vaccine or medicine created, Skip, that was 100%.
Fact.
Most things are 99.9. There are a lot of things that are 99.9, 98.7. But there's been nothing. Vaccine, chemo that can be given to an individual says the doctor's going to say it's 100%. What Coach Belichick has done, he realizes that the vaccine, what it does, it makes you less likely to get it. If you were to get it, the symptoms would most likely be less severe.
Right.
And you are less likely to require hospitalization.
Yep.
What he did was minimize the vaccine.
He did.
And he shouldn't have done that. Coach Belichick, the guy that got busted for Spygate because he'd do anything to win, now all of a sudden, knowing that unvaccinated players put his team at a greater risk of losing because they're going to miss time, now all of a sudden nobody said, Coach Belichick, that was the only reason. That was the main reason. We're saying that's one of the reasons. Just like you say, when you lose a game and someone says, was it that blown assignment? He says, no, we didn't tackle well. We didn't block well. We didn't do anything on special teams. Well, there's a lot of reasons. That wasn't the only reason. It was one of the reasons. So by him minimizing it, we heard what Urban Meyer said, although he backtracked because the NFLPA has gotten involved. The Buffalo Bills, we heard what they said. NFLPA got involved. Skip.
Indianapolis.
He said there are consequences for unvaccinated players.
All except Belichick.
Only Coach Belichick. I bet he vaccinated. But that's neither here nor there, Skip. Look, I believe Coach Belichick went into the season. Cam, $3.5 million, that's not a whole lot of money for a starting quarterback. A lot of his money was tied up in incentives.
Yep.
Coach Belichick says, you know what, if Cam doesn't win this job outright, we're going to release him because, Skip, he probably had roster bonuses.
Yep.
At play time. So that's going to be money that he's going to, we don't have to pay that. This kid. Now, I think Coach Belichick was pleasantly surprised with how well Mac Jones picked the system up, how well he played, given the opportunity. And when he got 3 days to look at him in that joint practice, Skip, remember, they're starting to place more emphasis on the joint practices than in the preseason game because at least in joint practices, you can control it. But the starters is ones against ones.
It is.
Well, Mac Jones got an opportunity to go against the Giants ones for several practices. Looked really good. I think that was the determining factor. Coach Belichick says, I like what I see. I've seen enough. But for him to say, oh, yes, there have been vaccinated people that have gotten COVID, but the doctor said the symptoms are less severe. Hospitalizations are less likely to be required. So why would Coach Belichick minimize this? Nobody's saying that you were wrong for cutting Cam. That was well with you, but don't minimize the vaccine. You know the importance of this. A lot of teams know the importance of it because, Skip, you missed 14 days. COVID, 2 games. 2 games is like, 20 games in baseball? It's like 10 games in basketball?
Yep.
We know the importance of this. I just didn't like the fact that he minimized it, knowing, Skip, Coach Belichick knows all the rules. It's hard for me to see a scenario. A guy that he says, I wet the ball down, I heat the ball up, I wet the field because I'm preparing them for everything. I'm trying to win. How did he not know the protocols of what Cam could and couldn't do? He could leave, he couldn't leave, and what was going to be required of him. It's hard for me to see a scenario in which that didn't happen. And for you to minimize it, the wedge. Skip, they took the wedge out of the kickoff. Players still get concussions, but it greatly reduced the number of concussions.
It did.
Coach Belichick, you know that. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be embarrassed. You should be trying to promote the vaccine to make sure all the NFL and a lot of America become more vaccinated so we can get past this pandemic. But you minimized it. And you heard what Coach Belichick said, because a lot of times, Skip, a lot of times people of Coach Belichick, they carry a lot of weight. And people lean on that. They're looking for a reason not to get the vaccine. So now Coach Belichick just gave him another one. But I'm very disappointed that he said that.
Mr. Sharp, I hear you. I applaud you. I echo everything you just said. But now let's look a little deeper into why Bill Belichick said what he said. He was angry. And the key line, the flashpoint for me was when he was asked about Cam not being vaccinated, was it a factor? He gave it a big, bad, flat no. And then he said, look, you guys keep talking about that. This is the coach who says, I don't hear anything. I don't watch, I don't read, I don't know. I coach football. I keep my head down. You guys do whatever you do, which is why in every post-game media session, he works harder than any coach in the history of this league to say nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
So, look, you guys keep talking about that. He was angry yesterday because he had chosen this kid to be his starter. He had blessed him. He had sent the veteran on his way out the door because he thinks he has his answer to Tom Brady. And he is furious that starting with you, Shannon Sharp, have undercut that, have discredited his plunging ahead with Mac Jones by suggesting that it's a little bit by default that he chose Mac Jones because Cam didn't get vaccinated. So it's discrediting the kid a little bit. It's undercutting what he achieved through training camp because you are suggesting, and I believe you are correct in suggesting, and you were ahead of this curve from the start, that it's going to be about the vaccination. When he's not vaccinated, there was the misunderstanding. I don't know what all that was about. He just wasn't vaccinated. I don't know if he didn't understand the protocol rules, but he left the area. I don't know where he went to get a second opinion from another doctor. And because of that, if you're not vaccinated, the protocol says you will be gone for 5 days.
That is correct.
So that forced him out and the kid into, especially the first day against the Giants, which was they went Wednesday, Thursday of joint practice. And to your point, they're controlled scrimmages where you can't hit the quarterback. You might brush him as you run by him, but he's got his whatever color target jersey on, so he is off limits. And there's not hard tackling in the secondary, but you can do a lot of good work that you can control because to your point, it's starters versus starters because in the preseason game, it's too dangerous to risk starters versus starters for more than about a series or two, right? Okay, so we get all that, but you have now, in his mind, you and others have successfully minimized the achievement of the kid who listen, Belichick is head over heels for this kid. This is his life. This is his legacy. This is his future.
He handpicked him.
He handpicked him. He picked him in the draft. He did not handpick Cam Newton. He took him off the scrap heap, so to speak. And he didn't help Cam win an MVP. Cam did that in Carolina for Cam's legacy because it already happened. And now this kid is starting fresh with Belichick, and the kid looks Brady-esque, right? He's got the